And we're live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in onto the point with
Skip.
and the King. You guys know where to find us by now. Go check it out right there. Dougie J's on Twitter to find Simon. You can find his book, Running the Point, on Amazon.ca and at SimonBroder.com. You guys know where to find me, King Hussein, on all social media. You guys know where to find us collectively on To The Point on Facebook, To The Point on Instagram, To The Point on YouTube, which is where you're watching us right now. And if you're not watching us on YouTube right now, you're bootlegging it and you owe us some money, okay? Skip, I got a shout out. My man still got this here for you. Fly in the Six, baby. You guys know where to go check that out. You can see it on right there. You guys can see it right there. Go find them on Instagram. Go check it out. But Skip, I got a game for you. Want to play a game?
All right, let's see what you got.
Remember the game Guess Who?
Mm-hmm.
Let's play this. Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Oh, come on. This is too easy.
And more importantly, last night, who was that, Skip?
I'm going to go with Kyrie.
Bingo, you nailed it. You won. 15 points last night. Skip.
And a broken finger. And a sprained finger.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to play when Kevin Durant's not playing. And we'll get into that. Did you watch the game last night? I know you did. I know.
Of course I did. That was a beautiful game. That was one of the best games I've seen in months. That was a great game. Raptors Nets.
That was absolutely
right down to the wire. National TV in the States, national TV in Canada. You could tell the Raptors were all ready to play. They came to play. The Nets were kind of sitting there on their heels, a little bit taken aback, I think.
Let's pull up that graphic in case anybody missed it.
Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, you can see 123 to 117. Just a really good performance from the Raptors all around. I thought they came out with force. They played really well right off the bat in the first quarter, really got the Nets back on their heels. The Nets, obviously, with the crazy KD situation, they didn't know who was starting, whether he was coming off the bench. They just really looked out of sorts in the first quarter, and the Raptors jumped out and just basically took a 10-point lead right off the jump. And it was pretty much their game to lose from there. The Nets obviously made a big rally in the second quarter. A bunch of Landry Shamet threes, which was a little scary. He hit three straight. It was a little scary, but at the same time, if you're going to lose to the Nets, you're going to lose to Landry Shamet. Better to lose to Landry Shamet than to let Harden go off or something like that. So I thought, it was really nerve-wracking when Shamet and Joe Harris started hitting their threes, but the Raptors weathered the storm and they just kept punching back this whole game. And obviously we could get into how they did that, but basically I just think they played really good defense on the Nets, which is kind of hard to do because the Nets, obviously, Harden and Kyrie and KD, when he was in there, they could just go off at will. And the Raptors, obviously, they didn't stop them. They didn't really keep them down for long, but they really made everything really hard for them. And I think it was Harden only had 8 shots in the game or something like that. Because
barely had any, mostly free throws.
Yeah, he kept having to kick it out to the 3-point shooter. He kept getting doubled. The Raptors did a really, really good job of just getting in there, getting steals, playing Raptors basketball, really. The best thing about this game is that I felt like I was watching the Raptors again. I was like, this is that team that you go up against and you're like, I don't want to play these guys. They just get in all my passing lanes. They put their hands in my face. And even there was a bit of a free throw disparity in the first half. It was, I think, 17-3 for the Nets.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just gonna say off the bat, there were some weird calls in there. There were some weird makeup calls, like a Bane screen, and then there was another screen that that got called like right one after the other, and it's like, okay, like that was obviously a makeup call. But the bottom line is the Raptors were playing amazing defense, and the Nets weren't playing any defense. So there's some explanation for why there was such a disparity, because the Raptors are hacking you on every single play, and the Nets are basically just standing there like, yeah, we'll get it back on the other end. So I thought the Raptors played really, really well in this game, and I really enjoyed it. What did you think of the game?
Dude, I was loving it. I was sitting there on my couch by myself screaming at the TV because I was enjoying it. For us, I mean, wait, I didn't just say that. I'll take that one back. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good basketball game to watch. You know what? Okay, I have a couple issues with last night's game. Okay? Well, maybe not issues, but a couple things that I liked during last night's game, which was Watanabe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that guy was hustling on defense. He didn't put up that much. What did he put up? He put up, in 10 minutes, 0 points, 1 assist, 0 rebounds. But he was hustling. He was trying to challenge every shot. He was going after the other team.
Can I just cut in real quick? Can I just cut in real? I thought Watanabe's been really good the past couple of weeks, but I really thought in this game, the best guy in that role was Bembry. DeAndre Bembry just came in off the bench, and he was just playing great defense.
That's one of the other plus signs too, bro. Because Bembry only played, 18 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. That was pretty good. I was watching. I liked when he nailed those 3-pointers. I was cheering for him. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I think the Raptors did it, and it shows Raptors basketball because they, despite the fact that, what's her name? Natalie Sago, the referee, whatever. She didn't give a damn about the Raptors because the disparity at the end of the half was 17-3 on free throws. Free throws did really not matter. Like, they made it up later. The Raptors went 12 for 14, but the Nets took 29 attempts. And the Raptors, with their tenacity, still pulled through against what everybody believes to be the top team in the Eastern Conference. Now, I have a question for you, Skip.
Well,
go on.
First, we have to shout out Kyle Lowry because Lowry had an amazing game.
What a beast! Triple-double. But is Kyle Lowry doing Kyle Lowry thing? I don't think it was a
triple-double, but he had 30. He had 30. He might have had a double-double. I don't think he had the rebounds last game. But he had 30. He had a whole lot of threes that were just like killers.
Yeah. He had 30 points, 5 boards, 7 assists.
Yeah, the triple-double was the game before. But no, Lowry went off in that fourth quarter, and he was better than Harden in that fourth quarter. He was just raining down threes every time the Raptors needed it. He was kind of doing the VanVleet from the other night, where he was like, "I'm just going to take over this game." And Siakam also had a really good game, but this was a Kyle Lowry over everything game.
Siakam had a double-double, 33 points, 11 rebounds. Hey, don't poke the bear.
Yeah. As soon as he got elbowed in the face, he knew it was coming.
Yeah, you're wearing that shirt right now.
Now, of course. Kalo.
Okay, so I got a question for you, Skipper. Yeah. Now, despite the fact that the Raptors had a hell of a game with all their tenacity and all their fighting through the game to win it, do you think, because we all know, let me break it down for you guys right here. Kevin Durant was not cleared to play. He had to come off the bench due to COVID, health and safety protocol. Fine. He came off the bench. He had a pretty decent game. But then he got pulled out due to health and safety protocols in the middle of the game. Skip, my question to you is, do you think the Raptors would have still won just like in the finals against Golden State if Kevin Durant was still in there? What do you think about that, brother?
Well, that was eerie, right? It was crazy how it was like the same situation almost exactly as the last time we saw KD. It's like going up against the Raptors. He wants to play. He's pissed off that he can't play. He checks himself in. And then, of course, I mean, it wasn't a catastrophic injury this time, but it's like then he's got to come out of the game, and there's always like, is he playing? Is he not playing? It's always drama with KD.
No, KD or Kyrie? Huh? What?
Yeah, well, that whole team. But I mean, if I'm being totally honest, probably the Raptors are in a much worse spot if KD plays that whole game, because even the minutes he did play, he didn't really seem like he was in rhythm. He only scored 8 points. He racked up a whole bunch of fouls. He was actually, when he got pulled out of the game, it was because they were reviewing his 5th foul, because Nash was trying to keep him in the game and not have to pull him because of foul trouble. And then he ended up getting ruled out of the game anyway, so it was kind of a waste of their challenge.
Yeah, that reaction on Nash's face after the 5th foul.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
So,
go on.
I think realistically we have to say, sure, like the Raptors probably would have lost that game if KD's his best self. But then again, I mean, if we're handicapping this in a playoff scenario, if that ever does happen, the Raptors didn't have OG Anunoby either, who's probably the guy who'd be guarding KD. Now, OG's probably not going to keep him to 8 points for a whole game. But, I mean, by the same token, it's like Nets didn't have KD, Raptors didn't have OG, who's their number one guard on him anyway. So, I think, you can easily say, the Nets would have won with KD. But that doesn't cheapen the win. Let's not get too deep into that, because I think it was just a really good performance all around for the Raptors, and it was a performance they needed. They needed to show the world that they're still a good team, even that they're still basically a playoff team after this horrible start. And going toe-to-toe with the Nets is a good way to do that. And, it's just a nice win either way. We don't have to take it for too much or too little. Just, it was a good game. It was an enjoyable game. It was a fun game. Now, the COVID stuff sort of created a bit of a pall over it, where I saw on my timeline, everyone's like, oh, well, we should be if KD's ruled out, then we should be canceling the game, because obviously KD played, he exposed other people. It doesn't make sense to pull him without pulling everybody off the floor. So there was a little bit of that going on, and I understand it all. To be perfectly honest with you, it is a really weird situation. It's not ideal that they were playing, but I didn't want that game to get canceled. I was loving it. I was like, let's see what the Raptors can do tonight. Like, KD or no KD. I mean, obviously, it'll be a different story if someone gets COVID based on an exposure.
Okay.
But we've got to. I mean, I don't know. I really enjoyed the game either way. It's just
I
a
enjoyed
weird
the game
situation.
so much too, man.
Yeah.
It was so great. But see, now that COVID is affecting everything in because we're all sitting here watching sports. We all love it. By the way, tomorrow's Super Bowl, I'm picking the Bucks by 7. That's a side note. But we had the bubble, we had the MLB, we had the Marlins. What happened with them in baseball? We had now in hockey, now they have to divide the division where it's only Canadian teams in one division. We're having all this now that we got to go through, but the NBA has set the precedent on protocols and things that need to be done in order to get the games done. But now with this whole issue and this whole situation that happened last night with Kevin Durant, they're still looking to push for the All-Star game. Now, my question to you, Skip, is do you think Adam Silver and the NBA should go forward with the All-Star game? Do you think they should postpone it? Do you think they should cancel it? Do you think they should just forget about it? Because last I saw, they want to do all the events and the game in one night. That doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think about that whole situation, Skip?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems weird to me. It just I don't really understand why they're even trying, because it's such a weird reversal, because the NBA was the league that, when this first came out, when Gobert first had the positive test, they were the league that really went like, we're not going to play. We're only going to play if we can get into a bubble. We can really secure the scene, make sure no one gets COVID. They were so careful about that last year. And sure, maybe the bubble was on a bit of overkill, or whatever the word is, based on how the other leagues ended up playing out their seasons. But to go from that to being like, oh yeah, we're just gonna throw an all-star game for the shits and giggles, basically. It's like, I don't get it. I don't care about All-Star Weekend in the best of times, so I'm not really concerned.
I do.
I know you do, but like give me real basketball. Like if we got to be playing something, like give me real basketball. Like that's all I can say. And the other thing is, like, with an All-Star game, you're bringing in players from all 30 teams. So if there is an outbreak on one team, then that's where you get a super spreader event. It's like,
should players be restricted, like, if they're on a team that has a postponed game?
Yeah, well, what do you mean by restricted? Like quarantine?
Like, should they not be eligible if they're on a team that has that has postponed games?
Well, I just kind of think they should not do the All-Star game, because it's something. It's just, it could be a super spreader. It probably won't be, but like, if you take one guy, like say the Wizards have an outbreak, Bradley Beal gets COVID, Bradley Beal goes to the All-Star game, gives everyone else COVID, then they all go back to their independent teams and they all give everyone on their teams COVID. Like, that's where you get a super spreader. Whereas at least if you're going one team to the next team, it's like, okay, the Grizzlies maybe give it to the Hawks, but then if you catch it in time, then they don't give it to anybody else. But if you're getting all 30 teams together, then suddenly it's like, okay, it's all over the league now. So that's one issue with the All-Star game. And just in general, I don't feel like it's going to be fun without fans. I don't get it.
Yeah, I want to see Shaq with the camcorder going, oh! But I don't know. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the All-Star game. I love it. I love the festivities. I love the celebrity game, even the sophomores versus the rookies, or Euros versus the North Americans, the skills challenge, especially the slam dunk competition, the three-point competition. I love watching it. Personally, I enjoy it. But if it's going to affect people's health, scrap it.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that one.
100%.
If it's going to affect people's health, and some of these people, they have children, they bring their kids there, it's going to affect the kids, it's going to affect their parents, older people, scrap it.
I'm not convinced they're going to go through with it, because LeBron already spoke out against it. And like, if LeBron doesn't want to do it, like, what's the point?
Really? So LeBron just talks and everyone has to freaking listen? Ah, God. But speaking of the All-Star game, Skip.
Yep.
You know who I think should be an All-Star? Pull this graphic up.
Fred VanVleet.
Right there, Mr. Fred VanVleet, a.k.a. my mother's favorite player. Okay? What a night! I can't even believe what he did, dude. Like,
that was...
You had Vince Carter, you had DeMar DeRozan, you had these guys that put up 50-something points for the Raptors, and this guy comes out and puts in 54. Okay? First of all, NBA record, most points by an undrafted player. Most points by a Raptor for the franchise. Okay? Not to mention most three-pointers for a Raptor in the first half, which was 8, and a total record of 11. So he got another record. He was shooting 79% from 3-point. Okay? He was shooting 74% overall. He hit 9 of 9 on his free throws. Okay? 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. And I got to shove this in your face because you did say he's kind of small. That's my only shot at you. Okay, brother? You know I love you. But I think he should be in the All-Star game if there is one. Because you know what? If anybody's going to do it, you got to bet on yourself. What do you think about that, Skip?
I think he's got a bit of a case. I think he's got a case for all defense. He's got a case for maybe being the Raptors' best player. I don't really think he's got a case over Lowry, and maybe not even over Siakam, although I think it's really close between him and Siakam. I still think Lowry is the Raptors All-Star, if they even get an All-Star this year. But VanVleet's putting his name out there. Sure, he'll get a few, sympathy votes, or he'll get some consideration. I think he's putting his name into that conversation. I don't think he's an all-star yet, but I think he's getting that respect around the league where he's one of those fringe like all-star guys, like one of those guys who you're kind of like, maybe like a CJ McCollum, for example, has not made an all-star team. I don't think he's necessarily better than CJ, but like I think he's in that conversation as a very good player who is sort of one tier below an all-star. And I think he's really found his role this year. He's really cleaned up some of the holes in his game, and that night against the Magic was just nuts.
It was magic.
It was magic. He was just unconscious, and you could see even from the beginning of the game. I didn't really think he was going to score 50 because it was happening pretty slowly, but you could see every time he took a three, it was like swish, swish, 30-foot. 40-foot threes, just swish. And it's like, that doesn't happen. Like, he was just rocking back like a nice, easy swish. Like I think Nick Nurse said it looked like he was taking a free throw. And yeah, he had a great game and great defense. Just really most efficient game of all time. Notably, that's a notable stat that came up there. What did you put that up there? The 100.1 true shooting percentage, which best.
Oh, I didn't put that on there, but yeah,
most efficient scoring night for a 50-point scorer ever, in terms of how many shots he took and how many misses he had. Just an unbelievable night, and not necessarily one that feels like I'm going to remember it that long, but I think it really energized the team because I was just going into this week, I was really just feeling down about the season, about life, about just the pandemic, like stretching on and on and on. And I even remember last week, I responded, or the day of the Magic game, actually, I responded to a tweet where someone was saying, like, I can't enjoy the NBA anymore. I just watch it because it's there. And I was kind of feeling the same way where it's like, yeah, I mean, I watch all the games. I always watch all the games, but my heart's not totally in it. I'm just kind of like skipping through the commercials on my PVR, like, let's get to the end of the game, like yada, yada, yada. But
now your heart's in it.
But this week, everything changed. This week, it was like, this is basketball again. This is why we watch. This is fun. We're going to go out. We're going to score 50 points. We're going to win some games. We're going to play a tough, tight game against the Nets. Like, I was really into it all week. And I'm really into the Raptors again. I really feel like they've defined themselves as a playoff team. I think we can forget about that 2-8 start. We can say, yeah, so they had a tough start to the season. They weren't ready out of training camp. They were dealing with a lot of stuff, being moved to Florida, just being really out of sorts, out of home, not knowing what's going on. Yeah, so they had a rough start to the year. They're not a contender this year, but they're a playoff team. They're a good team. They're already in the 6th seed. Tonight's game against the Hawks will be a battle for the 6th seed. And if you look at net rating, they're I think they're 5th in the East in net rating. So they're solidly in that playoff picture. They're behind Philly, Boston, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. Clearly, those are the 4 teams that are better than them. But really, anyone below that, I think they could be the 5 seed. They could be the 6 seed, depending on how the rest of the season plays out.
We can get into that into a second, but I have something for you. Shout out to my man, Andrew Reece, on the Reece Report. You guys go find him on Facebook. That's where I go for all my sports news, MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL, even the Premier League. That's where I go. And he has something for us. Actually, something for you, Skip.
All right, roll the tape.
Can we pull that up? Okay.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Reece Report. I am Andrew Reece. I got a question regarding the Toronto Raptors that goes out to Skip and King at To The Point. Looking forward to seeing their show. Fred VanVleet is coming off a 54-point masterpiece At Orlando, that was a franchise record. He also hit 11 threes, which is a franchise record. And a couple of years ago, when Kawhi was on the team just before the playoffs, Simon and I had quite a debate about Freddie taking over for Kyle Lowry at the point guard spot. At that point, Kyle Lowry was going to be a free agent and could have left the team, but he was then re-signed to an extension. Now we're getting to the point where Kyle Lowry is again going to be a free agent next year. And the Raptors are just an under 500 team coming off a huge win against the Nets where Kyle Lowry was great. So I'm not talking about trading Kyle Lowry or even suggesting it. But can Fred VanVleet, considering Kyle Lowry's age, take over at point guard for the Raptors and also be the face of the franchise? I believe he can and will be the face of the franchise. What do you guys think, Simon, Skip, King?
Andrew, I love that. Skip, can we actually pull up your reaction from what he said on March 28th, 2019? You guys go look up that video. It's actually a 5 minutes and 55 seconds where this comes up. Go ahead, show that, Skip.
Oh my God! Look at my face. Okay, yeah. So okay.
Okay. This is all you. Go for it, dude. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I would say since we filmed that clip 2 years ago, VanVleet has continued to grow his game. He's definitely shown his place in the league. He's definitely a starter, a guy who deserves a big contract, as he showed this offseason. The question isn't whether he can be a really good starter on a really good team. The question is whether he can be Lowry, because Lowry is the guy who drove the Raptors' success for the last 5 years as an all-star, as a guy who can elevate everyone around him, can really have the team function, can make bench units play really well. And the question isn't whether VanVleet can have a role on a team. It's the question of whether he can be the lead guy. And I think he can be the lead guy to an extent. I think he can be a guard. But what's your ceiling if VanVleet's your lead guard? Is it championship team? Probably not. Is it playoff team? Yeah, sure. But I don't think he can necessarily do the kinds of things that Lowry does to make everyone else around him better. He's a terrific three-point shooter. He is a decent ball handler, and he's really cleaned up a lot of those little issues with his game, like not being able to hit mid-range shots. Now getting at the rim, he's been better at this year, but I still see him drive into shot blockers a lot, and he's 5'9". That shot's now going to get blocked every single time. So there's little things about his game that I think are holding him back. But to say that he can't be Lowry is not a diss. Not a lot of guys are Lowry. Lowry is one of the best players in the league. He's going to be a Hall of Famer when all this is said and done.
Nobody's going to be the Bulldog.
Yeah, you can't be Lowry. He could be a really good replacement. Okay, he can eventually. Yeah, Lowry's going to age out. You need a guy. He's going to be a guy, but he's not going to be able to bring the team to the same level as Lowry did during his time here. And ultimately, if the Raptors want to get back to that place after Lowry's gone, they're probably going to need to bring someone else in to complement VanVleet, like another big two guard or point guard or something. But that's getting pretty far down the line. I think VanVleet, he's earned his money. He's going to be a good player for a few years to come. And I'm not exactly eating my words, but he's proved me wrong every step of the way. I used to think DeLon Wright was better than him, and I don't think there's any argument for that anymore. So
who?
Yeah.
Who?
Exactly.
The what? Yeah, exactly. Well, Skip, you know what I think? Right now, as the Raptors are playing, and since they've won the championship, and even just slightly before the championship, I can argue that we said it again. The Tampa Bay Raptors, Whatever. The Raptors.
Yeah.
Your Raptors.
Yeah.
Your Raptors.
Well, you notice I don't say we. I don't say we. I'm the fan here, and I don't say we. But that's a whole other topic.
Anyway, I would argue that they have the best backcourt in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, I can't really.
Over the last couple years,
I know they just beat the Nets, but I don't know if you could really say that VanVleet and Lowry is better than Harden and Kyrie in a vacuum.
Offense, defense, hustle.
Yeah, I mean they're more well-rounded than some of the other ones for sure.
I would argue that. And you know what? Speaking of, just a side thing, like the way the Raps are going forward right now, you just hit it on the future, right? Going forward, that dude that I really like, I like him, Malachi Flynn, got sent to the G League to develop his skills. So that's going to look great for the Raptors' future because the Raptors do have a lot of very good development in the G League. Because we've seen it from some of our guys, Pascal, OG, Chris Boucher, VanVleet. We've seen it. I said our again. Damn it. So recently, with the way the Raptors are structured, Skip, I got to ask you a question. Over the last little while, how confident are you in their last, 9 games since we spoke to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, and you guys got to see our gorgeous faces. By the way, Skip shaved today. He looks really cute. How do you feel about that? I got nothing but love for you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're back. I think I already covered this a little bit, but I think they're back. I think it's not going to be a total smooth sailing season. It's not going to be championship, post-championship hangover, whatever that was last year, where they were just kind of floating on air and just just rolled to like the second seed or whatever. But I think they're back. They're the defensive monsters that they have been. They've switched their rotations up to where they're really featuring those bench guys that we mentioned earlier, the Bembries and the Watanabes and the Stanley Johnson. Yeah. So, and I think that really has given them their identity back, because even though those players aren't necessarily better than the guys that they were replacing, they give the Raptors their more synergy. Like they are who they are. They know who they are, and they play as a unit, as this team that's just all arms and legs, all getting in your face, knocking the ball away for steals, running in transition, and they've gotten that sense back. And so,
very unselfish.
And very unselfish, and just playing smart basketball, hustle basketball, not necessarily pure talent basketball, but just hustle. And I think they're gonna be fine. I think they don't have as much high-end talent as they did last year or the year before. The center position is still gonna be a problem, but I think they've gotten the ship back on course, and they're gonna roll to being a solid. I would project them as a 6 seed right now. I think they're out of that 7-8 mess, but they're probably going to be, fighting for the 5 or the 6 or something. Probably a team that's still going to lose in the first round, but I think that they're going to get there, and they're going to probably put up a fight in the first round at least against one of the better teams. And that's how I see this season playing out. So I think all the stuff about their tanking, they should trade Lowry, we can put that on the back burner a little bit.
We'll cover that soon.
A little bit. We can think about that a little bit. We'll see where that goes. But I think the ship's back on course, and they're taking care of business. So yeah.
Okay. You hit on a couple things there. You said that you expect them to be a 6 seed. Now, roughly. Guys,
that's not a. That's just a pick. Yeah.
If you guys go back and look at our predictions on where the Raptors are going to be, I did say the 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the way they are playing is absolutely good. And what did I say a couple weeks ago, Skip? I did say, and you guys could quote me on this one, I said, I don't care about the first 10 games of the season. Since then, before our last video,
you
when we saw
you
guys,
definitely did say that.
the Raptors won 3. And as of right now, since the last time we saw you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, you guys saw our gorgeous faces and Skip's beautiful baby face right there. The Raptors are now 4-6. They're at 10-12 for the season. They are going to rock it. You guys don't understand. This team, the way I seen them playing, like, yeah, you know, everyone is complaining about this and that with Nick Nurse and who's he putting in. Well, you don't see McCaw. You barely see Thomas.
McCaw's still hurt.
McCaw's injured. Yeah, McCaw's injured. You barely see him. You barely see Thomas. You know, Watanabe, he's just out there for defense. Stanley Johnson's just out there for defense. Baines has turned the corner.
Yeah, kind of.
He's gone from a
better for sure.
He's gone from a negative to a positive.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Lowry's gonna do Kyle Lowry. VanVleet's gonna give you all kinds of records. Siakam is gonna stay consistent because since every team knows that he's the first option, right? Boucher injured. OG injured for now. Boucher is doing what Boucher does. I'm surprised why his minutes have been low the last couple games. I didn't understand that after he had a monster 5 games. But the Raptors are finding, like you said, Skip, the key word, synergy. They're finding out what they have to do. Nick Nurse is doing a great job. My boy who I went to high school with, Jama Mahalela, the assistant coach for the Raptors, they're doing a great job with when it comes to the Raptors. And these guys are very, very, very underrated. You know, people keep sleeping on us. Damn it, again.
Yeah.
I think I'm catching Raptor fever, Skip.
Yeah, it's coming back, right?
I'm gonna catch Raptor fever or COVID. I'd rather catch the Raptor fever before I catch COVID. But personally, I think they've been doing great. Okay, and now we got a lot to look forward to. And like I told you, Raptors fans, a couple of weeks ago, don't freak out. Look forward. The team is doing great, and the team is going to do better. Don't get upset. Don't think of trade this guy, trade that guy, get this guy, get that. Don't think of it. Let them work on it. They're going to work on it. I personally have faith in them to do it. I have faith in Nick Nurse. I have faith in Kyle Lowry. I have faith in Fred VanVleet. I have faith in Pascal Siakam, even though he hasn't been doing that well. But recently, he has stepped up his game. So, Skip.
Yeah, I do think they might make a small trade at the deadline if they're going to load up, but it won't be a big name. It'll be like maybe a power forward or a center just to bring in things up. Yeah.
Someone big just to bring down low to deal with like Giannis or whoever or DeAndre in the middle. Yeah, if they do face them. So, Skip, do you have anything else to say to the lovely ladies and gentlemen out there that are watching To The Point?
I think we covered it all. I think just enjoy Raptors ball, man. Like, it's back. That's all.
All right, guys. Make sure you guys are watching us. Make sure you guys are following us on To The Point. Make sure you guys, that's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on YouTube. Make sure you guys are watching that. Make sure you guys go check out Fly in the Six on Instagram. I'm telling you, the quality is freaking amazing. It's absolutely great. Okay? He's going to be working on a bunch of stuff. We're going to be working on a bunch of stuff. Hopefully, we see you guys very soon. Shout out to my man, Andrew Reece, on the Reece Report. Make sure you guys go check that out. That was great. I loved it, Andrew. I'm going to give you a call later because that was funny. That made me laugh. Just seeing Skip's face. Okay, guys. You guys know where to find us. Keep giving us the love. Keep showing us a couple views.
And subscribe, all that fun stuff. Just keep it coming.
Bang! Keep engaging with us. I love Skip. You know, sometimes I'm up to like 3-4 in the morning just commenting back on what people have to say about us. And I love it because I love hearing what they're saying. And this is great. You guys keep it up. Keep me awake. I don't need sleep. Okay?
Yeah. All right. That's the life. Yeah, that's the hustle.
Yep. But more importantly, on behalf of myself and Skip right there, love that baby face. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and
peace.